Thank you, Madam Presiding Officer, for the opportunity to join the debate in response to the motion before us. Madam Presiding Officer, on the surface, the motion purports to address the urgent security and crime issues and concerns that we have in Tobago. And of course, these concerns are real, and we all feel the scourge of crime. Crime currently on our sister island Tobago is at its record. It's at its record high, Madam Presiding Officer. Madam Presiding Officer.
Allow her, members, allow Minority Councillor to make her presentation uninterrupted. Minority Councillor, continue.
Thank you, Madam Presiding Officer. Well, Madam Presiding Officer, I want to address some of the comments that would have been laid earlier in the debate. And Madam Presiding Officer, the member and the Secretary of Infrastructure spoke a while ago about, and he detailed the allocations of national security in Tobago and went on to say there are a number of years where there was no allocation to Tobago. But Madam Presiding Officer, as far as I'm aware, there are police stations all throughout Tobago. Those police stations are staffed with personnel. Similarly, Coast Guard, similarly, the prisons, similarly, fire. So, Madam Presiding Officer, is it that the Tobago House of Assembly is paying the workers of national security that are in Tobago? Or, Madam Presiding Officer, are they working for free? Because it is very, Madam Presiding.
What is the point of order, Madam Presiding Officer? Well, what is the point
She
of
has
order?
to sit.
Yeah, but what is the point of order?
Minority Leader, I would never allow you to speak to me like
I'm
that.
asking a question.
I would not allow you to speak to me like that.
What is the point of order? They could do whatever they want over there. They're talking whenever they want.
Let me just say, make this very clear. I am very disappointed in everyone here. The matter of security on this island is a serious issue, and it seems as if it is being taken for a joke. This is the people's business, and it should be treated with this seriousness. It affects every Tobagonian. Why aren't we taking this seriously? I would hope that moving forward that your contributions would reflect such. Member, continue.
Madam Presiding Officer, I do not wish to be misquoted. I just spoke.
Point of clarity.
Point of clarity, I said.
Thank you. Can you clarify, please, member, please?
I said that the development budget for the Ministry of National Security was $1.2, $1.4 billion this year, and I was quoting figures for the development budget. So recurrent expenditure to pay salaries is not a concern that we have. Development budget, what I spoke about. So don't misquote me. If you want to quote me, quote what I say.
Member, please continue.
Thank you, Madam Presiding Officer. I didn't quote the member. So, Madam Presiding Officer, the point I am making is that there is expenditure in Tobago in relation to national security. And I also want to place on the record, Madam Presiding Officer, that it is our information, because members opposite also spoke to the whole issue of the Coast Guard and having inadequate border patrols, but it is our information, Madam Presiding Officer, that there are some vessels that are currently on dry dock that will be returning soon, and one of those vessels will be assigned to Tobago. Madam Presiding Officer, again, although this motion may appear to address the issue of security in Tobago, it is clear, Madam Presiding Officer, from the comments and all those who would have contributed on the other side to the debate so far, it's an attempt to politicize such a serious issue as crime. Madam Presiding Officer, the Chief Secretary brought a motion to this House to ask this House to agree for a memorandum of understanding between him and the Ministry of National Security. Madam Presiding Officer, if you may recall, right in this said House, in October of last year, a motion was brought by the minority, was amended by the majority side to indicate that let us all come together to have bipartisan talks and to come together as members of this House. The motion was approved unanimously by all members of the House, Madam Presiding Officer, and yet the Chief Secretary went and did his own thing. The Chief Secretary came back. Yes, he wasn't in the House at the time, but Madam Presiding Officer, the Deputy Chief Secretary, would have led the charge, and she would have brought the amendments before this House that was voted unanimously. Even the minority leader, because of what was decided, wrote to the Chief Secretary informing and advising, just in case he was not speaking to his colleagues, informing him of what would have transpired in the House and the decision of the House. And yet still, the Chief Secretary decided to go on his own accord, convene a committee, never even came back to us to say, let us, or reach out to the minister, reach out to the parliament, reach out to the prime minister to have these bipartisan talks. So, Madam Presiding Officer, some months later, to come to the House to ask for approval to have some memorandum of understanding is clear political games and gimmickry. And on private members' motion, when they came into office, they indicated that they will be doing things differently and we will be meeting several times throughout a month. 1 out of 3 months where we have private members, this administration decided that they would bring a motion. Madam Presiding Officer, I continue. We are speaking about resources. In case we forgot, Madam Presiding Officer, this administration, when compared to previous administration, has received an increased allocation year on year from the time that they came into office. The minority leader was making the point when the member for the Assistant Secretary of Infrastructure was speaking, and the member would have indicated and he would have quoted the amount spent by the Tobago House of Assembly on national security in Tobago. And the member quoted 2021, the sum, 2021, sorry, the sum of $950 being spent, 950,000, sorry, to cover housing and transportation. 2022, 720,000, 2023, 740, and 2024, 780. And he would have cumulated the figures. But what the point that the minority leader was attempting to make, that the financial year runs from October 1 to September 30th. So the financial year ended 2021 would have been a financial year under the People's National Movement. And that is all that the minority leader was attempting. And based on the information that was laid here by the member, in 2021, there was the highest spent out of all the 3 years. In 2021, the amount spent on national security in Tobago is $950,000. And when you compare that to the allocation that was received then was less than what the current administration received while they have been in office. So to speak about the central government don't like Tobago and the central government is some sort of treating Tobago as a bastard child because of them, Madam Presiding Officer, is about priorities. And this is not the first administration that is seeking to prioritize the spend on national security in Tobago. It has come from successive administrations of the Tobago House of Assembly because it is understood this is an important issue. So, Madam Presiding Officer, it is troubling to see that we are politicizing this issue. Additionally, Madam Presiding Officer, if we want to talk about additional resources, the Chief Secretary, we are just coming out of a debate in relation, or the conclusion of a debate in relation to greater autonomy for Tobago and increase resources, financial resources for Tobago, Madam Presiding Officer. The Chief Secretary single-handedly, Madam Presiding Officer, stood in the way of Tobago getting greater resources and greater autonomy. Madam Presiding Officer, with the passage of those bills, this administration would have received in excess of $1 billion on its allocation. So it is quite troubling to hear the Chief Secretary and this administration talking about increased allocation and increased resources when you, with your own hand, squandered that away. And I want to remind Tobago that it was the Chief Secretary had 3 years plus in office to send its recommendations to the Parliament, to send its recommendations to members on both sides. Yet the Chief Secretary waited, and even we had a motion here to say, let us come into bipartisan talks to address the issue. That was ignored. The Chief Secretary waited until the day of the debate, mere moments, to send an aid memoir to his friends in the UNC and to send a text message to the Prime Minister indicating that he has issues with the bills. And if you look to the end of the aid memoir, the Chief Secretary indicated that not to proceed with the bills. So, Madam Presiding Officer, when we are speaking about increased allocation,
45-5, Madam Presiding Officer. The minority councillor, again.
he didn't say he was standing on a point of order.
45-5. The minority councillor, again, is imputing improper motives associating this administration with the UNC. They continue to do that, Madam Presiding Officer, I'm reminding. They continue, and I'm asking that that statement be, our friends in the UNC, I'm asking that that statement be retracted.
You all are friends?
I am, Madam Presiding Officer. Can I also say that I'm addressing you, I'm not addressing the minority leader, and I'm waiting for you to make a pronouncement on the thing, and not the minority leader.
Thank you, Madam Presiding Officer. So, as I continue, Madam Presiding Officer, if we wanted greater allocation to the Tobago House of Assembly that we are seeking, one of the very ways that could have been explored that was right before us, that the mechanisms were in place for us to address that, was the passage of those autonomy bills, Madam Presiding Officer. Madam Presiding Officer, the Chief Secretary would have spoken about some of the social safety net or social policies that they have had in place to deal with crime. And yes, we understand that crime is also a social issue. And we all have a part to play in terms of the reduction on crime and how to address crime and criminal activity on the island. But Madam Presiding Officer, the policies of this administration may have contributed to the escalation of crime on the island. Madam Presiding Officer, we have to deal with the root cause of crime and criminal activity. And I am asking the question because, again, some of the policies of this administration has brought great hardship to members of our community in Tobago. And Madam Presiding Officer, it is being reported from members of the public that the social safety net mechanisms in terms of issuance of grants, the accessibility to those grants based on the reports from citizens of Tobago have indicated that it is becoming increasingly more difficult to access that social security support. Madam Presiding Officer, when it comes to sporting activities and sporting facilities for young people on our island, we have instances where the Goodwood Pavilion, the indoor sporting facility, the community center in Charlottesville, all those things remain untouched, languishing since this administration has come into office. And these are facilities that could have been utilized. You hear the young men in Goodwood complaining that they have not had access to this facility in years. And Madam Presiding Officer, these are the productive ways that we could engage young people to take them off the street and have them involved in productive activity. We also have a situation with the blacklisting of our Tobago contractors that employed thousands of Tobagonians, Madam Presiding Officer. Where are the persons who were employed with these Tobago contractors? Where are they today? And Madam Presiding Officer, that is why we on the minority are concerned by some of the policies of this administration and whether or not they are contributing towards the increase in crime and criminal activity. The other thing, Madam Presiding Officer, the motion is calling again for increased allocation, and it seems to be calling for increased responsibility. Because the Chief Secretary said that with the MOU, the THA wants to be responsible for certain aspects of national security in Tobago. Madam Presiding Officer, the track record of this administration is that they are unable to adequately manage what they currently have. So you're now asking for more leeway to do things that you can't currently manage? What this administration needs to do, Madam Presiding Officer, and I'm recommending, is that the areas that they have responsibility for, manage that properly. account for that, be transparent, spend the money of the hard-working citizens of Tobago in a prudent manner, Madam Presiding Officer. And if you do that, then and prioritize properly, then you will see the increased allocation year on year, the increased allocation from 2022 of 2.35 billion to 2023 of 2.52 billion, an increase of 164 million. The increased allocation in 2024 of 2.58 billion, an increase of 64, and then a further increase of 2025 of 2.55. Let us manage that in the best interests of Tobagonians. So, Madam Presiding Officer, there is a call for leadership. There's a call for leadership in Tobago, Madam Presiding Officer. And this administration seems not to be providing the governance that Tobagonians want and need and deserve and what they promised. So, Madam Presiding Officer, as I indicated before, addressing the issues of the island's security requires more than stopgap measures or political grandstanding. It requires a genuine effort to build bipartisan consensus and engage all sectors of society. Crime affects us all, Madam Presiding Officer, and solving it demands collaboration, transparency, and accountability. So, Madam Presiding Officer, as I said, crime is a matter that affects every resident and citizen of Trinidad and Tobago. And we need a unified and collaborative approach to deal with such an issue. And it is quite disappointing that the Chief Secretary has chosen to stroke discord on such a critical issue of safety and well-being of our people. And Madam Presiding Officer, I want us to note as well that the THA Act already provides the Chief Secretary to interact directly with the ministers in matters relating to Tobago. And Madam Presiding Officer, we would have seen it in the past. We would have seen where the Chief Secretary would have met with the Prime Minister and other members of the National Security Council. We would have also seen where the Chief Secretary met with the Minister of National Security and Minister in the Ministry. So, Madam Presiding Officer, there's nothing preventing the Chief Secretary currently from having these conversations and entering into these bipartisan talks. So, Madam Presiding Officer, I want to conclude. And we just got a word, Madam Presiding Officer, because the Chief Secretary would have spoken about the prisons. And Madam Presiding Officer, it has been brought to the attention of the minority that in relation to the prisons and a space to relocate the prisons, the minister is awaiting a feedback or a return call from the Chief Secretary in relation to those matters. So, Madam Presiding Officer, I want to encourage the Chief Secretary to return the calls of the minister as it relates to finding a suitable...
Member, you have 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Presiding Officer. As it relates to finding a suitable location for the prisons, the minister is waiting on the Chief Secretary. So again, Madam Presiding Officer, as I conclude, We are all, crime affects us all, and we all have to be a part of the solution. Let us stop playing the politicking with crime and criminal activity, because it is here. It is real and it affects us all. I think we all cringe, particularly when we heard about the murder of a 15-year-old school child, Madam Presiding Officer. And it is reported that another school child is being charged for such activity. So, Madam Presiding Officer, I'm encouraging that let us all work together and stop politicking such a serious issue. I thank you, Madam Presiding Officer.
Excellent.